What's cracking, guys? Bruce Matson here, your host of Metric Scout Fantasy Football. Today, I'm doing something I don't normally do, and it just coincides with my process and how I feel about Dynasty. I feel like all players are sells, all players are buys, and it really depends on the league, the situation, the value, what's going on with the trade, and yada, 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 all the way down the line. So it's really hard to promote somebody as a sell because I feel like all the players are sells in one way, shape, or form. But I'm going to give you 3 players here that I'm going to be talking about today, giving you ideas of how you could sell them in your leagues. You can argue about it if you want in the comments. I probably feel the same way, one way or another, but I looked through ADP and I was like, whoever gave me a little bit of that feeling in my bones that, hey, this guy needs to get off some rosters, I'm put him on the list. And then I'll come back next month when ADP gets redone up and I'll have some more. But I'm giving you 3 running backs today who are sells right now in ADP and on the trade market, or both. That being said, let's take a look at it. First running back that I'm talking about is a younger running back. Has some good stuff in his game, has proven to be productive, his value is high. And that may be an opportunity for us to sell in the high, to gain more assets, to gain better players, gain more players, more picks, more capital, whatever the trade negotiation leads to. But there are some things in his profile that when you look at it can get a little bit wonky down the road, and we may want to let him go while times are good because it's better to sell a year early than a year late. However, if you have him on your team and you're in it to win it this year, you may not want to think about that. But this guy can be a cornerstone to your team. He can also be a cornerstone team in a way that if you deal him, you can be getting a lot in return, helping you out for the long haul, or turn that rebuild into a contender with the right trade. And I'm talking about Najee Harris, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Currently has an ADP of 6.5, so around the 6th to 7th player off the board on average. And startup drafts, being drafted as the RB2 on average. That can be up and down a little bit. He's 24 years old. He had 94 targets last year, 2.96 yards after contact per attempt, 6.8 yards after the catch per reception. Led all running backs with 479 routes ran. The question is, though, is Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett willing to check it down this much? Willing to throw it down to the flat, do screens, whatever, to Najee Harris, allow him to get that volume in the passing game for him to have this production? He's RB2 in ADP. This might be the time to sell. The value's up there. The trade value's up there. You can pretty much name that price, whatever you want for Najee Harris, whatever you want, you sell him, you get it. And if you don't get it, you don't sell him. That's pretty much what it looks like. On the trade value here, on DLF Trade Finder, you know I like to look at that because trades that actually happened, which means they could potentially happen for you or some way, shape, or form, something similar. Here are some trades, though, that went down with Najee Harris. Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2 2023 firsts, Devonta Smith in a first, 3 2022 firsts, all mid-rounders in 2022, T. Higgins in a first. So really, you're just naming your price and you're going to go get it. If you don't get what you want, you don't trade them. So nobody should be in the comments right now asking if this is a good deal for Najee Harris. If you don't feel good when you're walking away, you keep him on your roster because we ain't trading to sell. We are trading to get some value. We're trying to get better. We're not doing this just to do it. We're just getting you some ideas what you could do to make your Dynasty Fantasy Football team better. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and we're just doing what we can. The next running back that we're going to talk about is an older veteran who's got a little bit of wear on the tires, but has some years ahead of him, maybe. Catches the ball in the backfield, used heavily in the passing game. That receiving volume helps him a lot in fantasy. Has top-tier production. He can give you boom weeks anytime. I'm talking about 30-point PPR weeks, 40-point PPR weeks. Had some legendary performances that has helped fantasy gamers win their league, win their weeks, whatever. And I'm talking about Alvin Kamara from New Orleans Saints. Has an ADP of 25.83 and he's RB10. Was a first rounder not too long ago. Now he's slipping a bit. The market's starting to react to his age. He's almost 27 years old. 7 RB1 weeks last year, 1 RB2 weeks, 4 or more targets in every game but 2. When does the bottom fall out, though? He's almost 27 years old. Running backs who are around that age tend to fall off. This offense is very ambiguous. We have Jameis Winston there slinging the rock. We never know what's going to happen with that guy. At least we know we're going to get some crazy workout videos this summer, but we don't know what's going to happen here. Is he going to want to check it down still, or he wants to throw them YOLO balls downfield? We don't know. He is older. He has been missing some games. He could be missing some more games down the line. Will his value tumble? More than likely, it's going to slowly disintegrate at best. That's the best case scenario. But if this season's not so good, it could fall on his face. Him being this old, 27, and soon in a year or so from now, he'll be turning 28. That's not a good outlook for Dynasty gamers. If we got him at a 25 ADP, RB10-ish range, you can get a little return on investment. The trade finder, when you look it up, it's not too sexy right now, but we have some things coming back our way. DK Metcalf in a second. He's been traded for the 102 in rookie drafts a lot this offseason. There's like 5, 6, 7 trades of him going for the 102. Him being traded in bigger packages where you look at the value, it's very subjective. He's also been dealt 1-for-1 with Michael Pittman, a first, a second, Juju Smith-Schuster. So how I kind of range this out in my head, how I'm kind of gathering trade deals, first and some change, multiple firsts if you think you're feeling lucky in your league. Try and get something like that out of them. See if you can get multiple pieces, though. I wouldn't want to get one thing just in case that one thing flops on you. And then Kamara's here with another couple years of production. I would at least want some insurance policy, a first and some change. That change, maybe a prospect that you like, or a decent draft pick in 2023. 2 firsts, maybe a first this year in 2023, or maybe you could snag a 2023 first, or even a 2024 first. That value is going to increase anyways, and it's going to stay there, and first-round picks don't get injured. So that's something you could look into, or 2 2023 firsts. If you can get that for Kamara, I would hit accept in a heartbeat because I like that 2023 draft. I feel like you can get a couple backs out of there. You can get a couple good receivers. If it's super flex, we're going to have some better quarterbacks on the top end at least. So 2023 is going to be very interesting. That would be my ideal scenario. I like DK Metcalf in a second if you need to build up at wide receiver, but that could be still a little dicey considering what's going on in Seattle. We're seeing 102 a lot of trades. If you like Kenneth Walker, if you like this wide receiver class, you may be into that. The next running back I'm going to talk about, he's another older veteran, and he is a dynasty guy that you wouldn't think be holding a lot of value considering his age, but I know he's going to get a pump up, and I know his value is going to increase between now and August. I know the redraft community, the redraft analysts, they're talking him up already. They're going to talk him up some more, and we're going to see his dynasty value start to creep up a little bit, inch by inch. And I know he's not super valuable now, and most Dynasty gamers aren't holding him to a high standard right now, but there's going to be a little ROI, a little bit of return on investment between now and August. And if he's being productive, if he's getting touches, you may be able to sell him off in season. You may be even able to sell him off now because Father Time's going to chop that axe on his head sooner than later because he is also an older running back. I'm talking about Leonard Fournette from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just about everybody in redraft has him as a buy right now. Some Dynasty gamers has him as a buy right now. But we're seeing the value. We're seeing the trend line starting to creep up a little bit. He's 27 years old, has an ADP of 57.5. He's valued as RB21, which is a good price tag. If you want to buy him at that price tag, just so you can have a productive running back, you might be able to get that and enjoy it for a season or two. But if you want to buy him, that might be a smart idea too. It caught 69 passes last year, 27% of his fantasy production came from the receiving game. Remember, Ronald Jones is gone. Rachaad White is in. Rachaad White's more of a pass catcher, so he is a threat to that receiving production. Rushed for over 800 yards last year, 5 RB1 weeks, 6 RB2 weeks. So he was steady. He was consistent. He has 3 RB1 finishes on his career. Pretty much every other year, he is an RB1. He was an RB1 last year per PPR. That being said, trend lines, if it was real, if you want to go by that, this year is pegging him to not be an RB1, but I'm not going by that. I think that this could be a good time to sell. In season will probably be a better time to sell if he has a couple good games off the gate with some production. Rachaad White could be a threat. 69 balls caught may not be replicated this year, even with Ronald Jones out. And with Ronald Jones out, that could be a pillar to increase his dynasty value. I feel like more people are going to talk him up as we get closer to season, and I feel like his ADP is going to slowly creep up a little bit. He's not going to be considered an RB1 in value, especially not in startup drafts. But on the trade market, people are going to notice that, and people are going to be trying to buy the production. We're seeing him get traded a lot for late first-round picks in the 2022 rookie drafts. Christian Watson straight up, so another late first-round pick scenario. Him and a package for Austin Eckler. I'm talking about like a third-round rookie pick. 2023 first plus a second and third. Good price tag for a 27-year-old running back. Chris Godwin straight up. 2 late first, so 2 first-round picks for a 27-year-old running back. People are buying the production. People are looking to purchase this production for their team this year, and this is where you can really bamboozle the market and get yourself some capital going forward and build your team, build this portfolio. There's not a player in this league that's not sellable. That we can trade anybody in this league. It just has to be the right deal. You have to catch the market at the right time. Startup draft ADP isn't always the market. I love the DLF Trade Finder. Get yourself a subscription to DynastyLeagueFootball.com. I swear, I work there, I know, but I swear that DLF Trade Finder, if you want to learn more about the market, start looking at these trades. That gives you an idea of what's possible in some of these players, and then you could use that to pivot yourself on some of your trades to see if that can happen for you. Because if you're seeing a trade happen multiple times on that list, that could happen in your league. Maybe, maybe not. But it's good to test it out, see what happens, and maybe 1 out of 20 times you hit. And that one time transitions your team into a league winner. You never know. But it helps you be active. It helps you study what people are doing. As we see here with Leonard Fournette, these trade offers, these trades that are going down, are worth more than his actual ADP. We see this with some of these players. I'm seeing this a lot with these videos I'm cranking out for you guys, that this player may be valued here in ADP, but on the trade market, it's different. Especially Allen Robinson, who I talked about the other day. I think this is like the 4th video I talked about him, but his ADP was high, but his trade value on the market in some leagues is very low, and you can really attack that part of the value of the market. And that's one thing that I love about the Trade Finder. Out of all the tools there, well, there's a lot of tools that I like. This is one of my favorites when it comes to looking up value. You need to know your leagues. You need to know what your league mates are thinking. And in order to do so, especially if you're in a lot of leagues, you have to send out a lot of offers so you know what they're rejecting, what they're accepting. Write down a notebook. Watch the logs in your league. See who's accepting what and what trades are going down. Even if you're not involved in the deal, see how they're valuing the players. Do they like young guys? Do they like old guys? What is it? What are they doing? Make sure you're knowledgeable with your league mates. Each league is their own market. So some of these guys that I'm talking about, these buy, sell, or trade videos I'm doing, they may not even be realistic for you. Some of these people who are watching these videos, they're 100% realistic because each league's different, managers are different, and you know what? I act differently from league to league because I just like to build teams differently and play around and have fun. You catch guys like that as well. I may be going old in this team, going young here. You never know. But you never know unless you don't test the market in your league. Hit them offers up. Be active. talk to your league mates. See what your league is about. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about these sells that we got here today. Who are you selling in your leagues? Which running backs are on your block? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Help this video out on the algorithm so we can get shared around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I'm pumping out the Dynasty content left and right, helping your Dynasty teams and everything else. But again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.